Hey, what's going on everyone? Thanks for tuning in on the channel. Today I'm going to be discussing how you actually apply and get your foot in the door as a plumber with no prior knowledge or any experience at all. So stay tuned and pay attention because I got some gems for you in this one. Before I dive too far into it, I think there's a couple things that you should have before you start applying or looking at these companies. The first thing is you should at least have a high school diploma or GED. And if you're still in high school, that's perfectly fine. I'll have a route in here that you can take that will allow you to get into the field by the time you graduate. And aside from the high school diploma or the GED, I feel like you should have some sort of tool skills already in place. It means like, you're familiar with using screwdrivers, crescent wrenches, hammers, drills, saws, things like that. Generally, somebody who's going to get into this field is already a little bit mechanical. You've already used some tools, you've tinkered on things in the past, and that's going to go into the third one. And that's critical thinking skills and being able to troubleshoot. Because that's a big thing in this field you're going to be dealing with. You've got to be able to know how to like dissect things, take them apart, figure out how they work, put them back together. And if you don't know if you have this skill yet, that's all right, because that's something you'll pick up on once you get into the field, and you'll know for yourself whether you're able to think on that critical level or not. So keep it in mind, high school diploma, GED, some sort of tool skills, and also critical thinking skills. Those are going to go a long way, and if you already have those, it's going to get you an interview that much faster. All right, so now that I've talked about that, we're going to get into actually applying to these companies and reaching out and trying to get yourself a job in this field. So the first and easiest method is going to be hopping on the internet and just doing a search on like Indeed, Monster, ZipRecruiter, or even Craigslist if they're still around. And Craigslist was good for finding those small mom and pop businesses to work for. If you're not interested in working at a big company with a lot of people, looking for small businesses, that would be a good route for you. And the next part will kind of get into that a little bit. So like I said, hop on ZipRecruiter or Monster or any job search engine and just type in plumber or plumbing in the search box, and I'm sure you'll get a long list of different companies and all sorts of different positions that you can get into. And what I would advise that you do is actually do a little bit of research and really dig in, because there's going to be a lot of different things out there, and some of them might stick out to you, be like, oh, I really want to try that, or I want to get into this side of it, or maybe I want to try this. So check them all out, do your research, see which one seems like it would be the best fit for you, and also don't get discouraged. I noticed when I was applying, the job seemed very demanding, and there was like a long list of different things you needed to know and different skills you had to have. If you're just starting out, don't get discouraged by all that information. I would advise that you apply anyways. Worst case, you don't get a call back, and then at that point you can be persistent or go a different route with it if you're really that dedicated to getting into plumbing. That's it for the first one. The second one I want to talk about is cold calling. So it's going to be similar to the first one. You're still going to need to get on the internet, but instead what you're going to do is just do a Google search for like local plumbing companies in your area, whether big companies, small companies, whatever, and then pick and choose, like, get yourself a little list of companies that you like or ones that you think would fit your criteria, and reach out to them. Give them a call, shoot them email, let them know you're interested in getting in the field, and explain why you would be a good fit to get into those companies. You really just have to sell yourself, especially if you're doing it by email. Be professional about it. Explain why you'd be a good fit for the company. Talk about the skills that you have and also the skills that you want to acquire and what you want to learn on the job. Tell you what, a plumber is going to love to hear that you're interested in that and you actually want to learn more. They're going to gravitate towards you a lot more, and that's going to get you a much higher success rate at applying at these jobs. And that's cold calling in a nutshell. You're just blindly reaching out to these companies and calling them, letting them know you're interested, and in hopes that one of them, or if not multiple companies, will give you an actual shot at an interview. In this last one I want to discuss, this is going to go for both people in high school or out of high school, or if you have a GED. And this is going to be going into a vocational school or a trade school. So if you're somebody who's currently in high school and you're interested in getting into this field or learning more about it, you want to talk to like a counselor or an administrator, somebody in your school who deals with programs and classes, and talk to them to see if your school has any other schools in its network that offers trade programs. I know where I live, we have quite a few high schools who offer different things from, auto mechanic to like HVAC. You can find some plumbing ones. There's all sorts of different ones out there. They even have like carpentry school. It's kind of cool. And depending on your school and how they're set up, you might even get like college credits towards it. But that would be the route to go. If you're in high school, talk to your counselor, somebody at the school who can let you know if your school or any other ones in the network offers programs like that. You might also be able to find that information out just by going on your school's website. So be sure to check that out and to talk to somebody. But high school, that's the route you go. Now, if you're already out of high school, this is going to be a little different for you. At this point, what you need to do is go on the internet and do a search for like local trade schools. You can even type in plumbing school or vocational schools close to you. If you're going to go this route, I think there's a couple of things that you should consider. The first one being that when you do that initial internet search for like the trade or vocational programs or schools in your area, you're going to see that there's a lot of online courses that are offered. Now, I know me personally, and of course it's going to be different for everybody. I know I'm more of a hands-on person. I need to be in a classroom setting, actually working on stuff, talking directly with the teacher and the other students. That's how I learn best. Now, if you think that the online course would be the best option for you, by all means go ahead and do that. And the other thing that I would have to say about going through trade schools without being employed through a plumbing company is that you're going to have to pay for it, right? Versus if you try and do the first two steps and actually get employed first through a company, they will typically pay for your school. So if you don't really have the money up front to pay for something like that, then I would really take a look at either, trying to cold call a company or just doing regular online applications and trying to get in that way. And then once you get your foot in with the company, you can try and get them to pay for you to go to school. And that way you can get your license or progress whichever way you want to, and that's going to benefit both you and the company. So like I said, if you're out of high school, do an internet search, apply for some of the local trade schools and try and get in that way. It's fairly easy. They usually don't require much. Like I said, you're probably going to have to pay for it if you're not working for a plumbing company. And as long as you have your GED or high school diploma, I think for the most part you should be able to get in pretty easily. I know I didn't have any trouble applying, and I haven't met anybody that's had any trouble getting into a trade school. So by all means, go ahead and take that route to do it. Just like I said, take into consideration a couple of things that I discussed if you're going to go that route first. So now if you're really thinking about becoming a plumber, these are definitely the best routes that you could take to get yourself started in the field. And just make sure through this process that you stay professional, you stay determined, and you don't get discouraged at all. Like I said earlier, it might all be a little overwhelming, but just be persistent and work your way through it. Everybody had to start from somewhere in this field, and if we can all do it, you can do it too. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or want to leave a comment, please feel free to reach out. And if there's certain videos that you want me to do or things that you want to see, reach out to me and let me know, because I want to put content out there that you guys want to see or things that you want to hear about. So just let me know. Once again, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.